What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on CFL Central. Today we're going to be doing another Winnipeg Blue Bombers free agency update, and I know what you're thinking if you're not a Bombers fan. Oh my god, number 4! How many times can these guys talk about the Bombers? You bias, blah, blah, blah. We know it looks bad. Trust me, we really do. We're going to be having a Stamps video coming out within the next 48 hours. So if you're a Stampeders fan, look forward to that. And we're also going to be putting something together as well for the Argos, as they've just re-signed McLeod and Bethel-Thompson to that one-year contract. So we're going to be talking about them as well in the next coming up days. So stay subscribed, turn notifications if you haven't already. But today, let's jump into the 5 Winnipeg Blue Bombers signings that have happened. Six, excuse me, since I guess the 31st of January, coming to the 2nd of February.
Since the last one we covered.
Yeah, basically. So yeah,
with a few notable ones.
I'm going to throw it over to Carter now. Carter, take us into the first signing.
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly read off the names before we go into them. So just so that way everyone is aware, it is Mike Benson, Drew Waltarski, Michael Couture, Rasheed Bailey, and Mercy Maston. So those are your 6. And so we're going to go chronological order. Let's take a look at Mike Benson. Here.
Mike Benson.
I clicked on the wrong tab. Okay. Yeah, so solid signing. He was the long snapper, if you didn't know, for the Bombers, and has been since just this past season. He was in Ottawa before, and BC, which that's what I remember him as. I completely forgot he was in Ottawa. I'm not going to lie. He was only there for one season. And sadly, kind of like this past season, there wasn't a lot going on in Ottawa in 2019. But yeah, so really, because he's a long snapper, there's no real stats to go through. He's 34 years of age, 5'11", 225 pounds. That's really all I can go into. Other than, he did his job.
Exactly. A signing like this, guys, in reality, all it comes back to is we're keeping a guy that knows the system and is a familiar player with the Bombers, knows the coaching staff, so you just don't want to go out there and find a new face. This is a 2-time back-to-back championship team. He's 1 time. You don't need to. Keep as many of the core guys as you can and try to go for the 3-peat. That's what the Bombers are doing, and I would say they're having definitely the most successful offseason compared to any of the other 8 teams in the CFL. But yeah, I think you covered that one perfectly. Who are we talking about next?
We're talking about Drew Waltarski, who, in my opinion, is a receiver with a lot of promise that was a little underutilized this past season just because of how good both Rasheed Bailey and Kenny Lawler were, and Nick Dembski, as Nick Dembski always is. There's no shocker there, but I think Drew Waltarski I could really see in this next season with the uncertainty about what's happening with Kenny Lawler. I could really see him filling a bigger role. I mean, he's only 26 years old. He's 6'2". He's got some good height to him. 225 pounds. He's been with the Bombers his whole career, starting in 2017, and then obviously 2021 in his most recent season. Played all 14 games, 32 32 catches, and I'm just trying to see here. Got 386 yards out of that, so not bad by any means. I could definitely see him being utilized a lot more, though. So I think that's what I think.
I think the reason why he will be definitely utilized more is I think it's a safe bet to say, and again, this is just speculation based off of rumors that we've already circulated with the start of free agency being opened in the CFL, and that is, I think the fact that the Bombers went out and didn't sign Waltarski to a 1-year contract like everyone else has and gave him a 2-year term, I think that kind of sets the bar that we might lose Kenny Lawler. BC made a massive offer to him, even bigger than the contract they gave out to Lucky Whitehead, which already made him the highest paid wide receiver in the CFL. Yeah. And if Lawler takes that, they have the back 2 of the highest paid players in the CFL. So
Kenny Lawler was offered $250,000. For anyone wondering, he was offered $250,000. So the CFL, that's a huge contract.
I don't think the term was confirmed, but I know it was longer than Whitehead. So I want to say 3-year contract at that price. So that's a lot of money, and it just shows that the Lions are ready to spend, even though O-line is invisible still. But again, that's a different conversation for another video. But yeah, I think that Waltarski is going to grow with this team. He has ever since being starting his career season with us, and getting to the point now where he's a 2-time champion, a really good contributing member of this club. I think this 2-year deal really sets the future for him to be kind of the guy to come up through the ranks and potentially take a spot as one of our primary or secondary receivers going into this next upcoming season. But Carter, who are we talking about next?
We're now talking about Michael Couture, who was an offensive lineman, more specifically center. 6'4", 305 pounds. He's a big boy. You don't want to mess with him. And because he's an offensive lineman, there's not much to say about him because there's no real stats for that position.
Exactly. Like
all I can tell you is that since joining the Bombers in 2016, he has played in every game since he has joined the team. Every single game he has started and played in.
Again, so, like I said just like a couple minutes ago, familiarity. That's what you want when you're a team trying to three-peat. The team when you want when you're top of your game. No
one will know the system better than a guy who's played every game.
Exactly. So keeping guys around that know the system, know the coach, and know how to win with the club, that's all you can do when you're trying to keep going and winning more titles. And again, very happy with the signing. Couldn't have asked for a better center going into the next season, in my opinion, based off of what he's done for us in the past. Who we talking about?
Especially before I go into the next one, like I am someone who, when I played football, I was a center myself. So I have had a lot of time of watching just specifically him. I'd pay attention to him through certain plays, and I wished I was nearly as good as him. He is just utterly fantastic. He does everything a center should be doing and more. You know, protects his quarterback, stands up for him. Love it. Getting into our next one, though, this one was the one I wasn't quite sure about. We got Winston Rose. I was a little bit unsure about if this would happen, considering that, if you don't remember, we signed Winston Rose partly through the season last year. We didn't have him the whole way through. So I found it interesting that we've locked him up for the entirety of this next year.
I think he secured it with the playoff performances, right? The playoff performances were very consistent, and not to mention the fact he clinched a back-to-back Grey Cup champ. He was the clinching play, right? He got that interception, even though it was a tipped interception. He caught that ball, and I think that really helped him propel his way into being a consistent member with this club going into the next season.
Yeah, and there's a lot of importance in even just a play like that, in the sense of there are guys who are unbelievable players, but they disappear in playoffs where the pressure gets to them. Like, you know, as good as a kicker that Paredes was for the Calgary Stampeders, he choked a bit in the playoffs. You can't deny that. This was a guy who had missed 3 kicks all season, and he missed like at least 3 in that last game. Like, you need players who can play under the pressure and persevere, and this is a guy who I think has really exemplified that with the Bombers these past 2 seasons. I mean, you see him in 2019, played in all the games, got 58 defensive tackles, only played 3 games in 2021 season, and still got 5 defensive tackles. And he got 9 interceptions in 2019. So you know what this guy's capable of.
Exactly.
And he got a touchdown that season. So I think the Bombers are really locking this guy up because they know what he's capable of. And I think once they have him playing more games as opposed to just the 3 he played last season, he'll really settle back into that role.
I agree, my friend. I agree. Does that bring us over to our next defensive back that is re-signed in Mercy Maston? I think is another really good signing, again, for depth. You know, to have these 2 guys coming back.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense to, again, familiarity. And I'm just, like I said, it's been a really easy offseason if you're a Bombers fan. Like, a lot of questions going into this. And yeah, we've lost a couple guys to the NFL. In reality, it could have been a lot worse. Caleros could have walked. He didn't. Yeah. We kept him, and that's the cog in the machine. The only big piece left that I think really is a big factor is obviously Kenny Lawler, and then for me, running back now, right? Because Oliveira is also a free agent, as well as
Johnny August,
and of course our
all
boy
3 of them.
Andrew Harris, right? So that's going to be a big question right
Oliveira,
now.
And August,
I think they all come back, especially Oliveira, being a Winnipeg product and draft pick. I think
Oliveira. I think, as much as I love Andrew Harris, I think Oliveira is the most important one, because as much as I love Andrew Harris, it's really important that we lock up Andrew Harris.
Absolutely.
But Oliveira is a guy that we're going to build on for the future once Harris is gone. Oliveira will be the guy. So I think it's really key that you keep him in the system and you let him stick there until Harris goes out, and then you properly fit him into that starting position. One thing that I was talking with Jake about a little early, something funnier about the CFL website for Mercy Maston. I don't know if you guys know this, but on the CFL website, he is apparently 0 years old. This is because they have the month and day right, but apparently they say he was born in 2021, even though he was very clearly born in 1992 and is 29 years of age.
God bless the CFL and the
is playing for the Bombers. didn't play any games last season, but I could let you know with some of the defense being a little bit shaken up by guys going to the NFL and guys not sure if they're going to re-sign or this and that. I could see Mercy Maston at least playing a few games in there and getting some field time, as he got none in 2021.
And we saved the best for last, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a very important signing, and I think, like Drew Waltarski, I think this one could have really good ramifications going into this season, and that is that fact that we have signed Rasheed Bailey to a 1-year contract extension. He's coming back, and I am very happy about that. He's one of our underrated receivers last year. He played 14 games. 52,
well, especially when you get a guy like Lawler.
Exactly, right? He had 52 recorded catches for a total of 629 yards. He had 5 touchdowns with an average catch of 12.1, so definitely well worth
11.1.
Sorry. 12.1. You're looking at his total career stats. Yes, I can see that.
I was thinking 11.8, which was his career stats, not 12.
But he's been very, very good in the last season. He really took a big growth compared to the 5 games and the 206 yards that he had in his first year in 2019 in Winnipeg. I think he's a good, underrated player who can get better for us, and I'm happy to keep him around. Like I said, familiarity with guys that can grow is all you can ask for when you're a team trying to stay good in football, when you have to have guys deep in every position to win because of injuries and whatnot, right? So I think Rasheed Bailey coming back, great contract, great decision by Bombers upper management, and I'm very excited to see how he's going to play for us next season.
For sure, and I think one thing that was really key about him is when you have something like there are some positions where having just one really good solid player at that position isn't good enough because an offense or defense can cater to it. Mm-hmm. So having a guy like Rasheed Bailey when he was alongside a guy like Kenny Lawler was really important because Bailey was your number 2 receiver. I'm not sure, because I think Lawler was your number 1, Dembski or Bailey was your number 2. It's really a toss up between the two. And I could see Rasheed Bailey really going in to fill that top spot if Lawler walks. I could really see them utilize him even more than what they did before.
Probably.
Just because the thing about Rasheed Bailey, though, is of all the receivers that I saw sometime this year drop a ball, I didn't see Bailey drop one.
When it really comes down to key important catches, he was very consistent.
I remember seeing a game where Lawler looked really good, but then there was a quarter where he was a little bit shaken up, but Bailey would just power through it, where they'd be like, you know what, this guy needs a little bit of time off in the sense of we've been throwing to him all game. Let's go to our secondary guy. Let's make this work, and they keep pounding it through. So having a guy like that who's so versatile and a guy that they can depend on, a guy they can trust and put their money on that this guy's going to get the job done, that's really important. And I think Rasheed Bailey is a great person to keep around.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. And that's going to round up this Winnipeg Blue Bombers free agency update video. So if you enjoyed, definitely drop a subscription, turn on notifications if you haven't already. Go ahead and follow both of us down on Twitter. Our links are always down in the description below, as well as all of our other stuff. If you want to check out the Nolan Hockey Podcast or Peg City Hockey, those are both of our individual YouTube channels that we have that we produce different types of content on. So you can always go check that out if you're looking for more videos and like to hear our opinions. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down below.
One more thing. So, coming soon, we are going to be talking with a former Grey Cup champion, Wayne Smith.
Two-time Grey Cup champion.
Two-time Grey Cup champion. That's what it was.
And I knew former first overall pick from the 2004 entry draft in the CFL.
So, we got very, very important guests that we're going to have on, so make sure you don't miss that. I'm sure I think we're probably going to have it up.
It's going to be going up at Sunday at 12, I believe, Central Time.
Yeah.
So turn on notifications and And also, if you guys want, ask any questions for him down in the comment section, and we will do so by asking him your questions. And I bet that would be something
we'd love to hear your guys' questions.
Exactly. So, Carter, thank you for interjecting there. Very good point that I forgot about.
I want to make sure we remember that.
Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more CFL content, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.